Cardinals make a massive mistake not trading for Micah Parsons and previewing Arizona State's big game against NAU. But even more than that, it's time to jump on the bandwagon. This team is going to be special, and it's all led by one Kenny Dillingham. Talk to you guys in a couple of seconds.
The Ben Garcia Show. Yeah. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need him. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth, better have thick skin like Callus. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show. Go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show. Go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia Show.
Oh, okay. Well, no sound this morning. Everything's fixed. Appreciate you, Polo, in the chat for saying it and fixing it. Saul as well. With that being said, guys, it is a busy Friday morning. Sometimes that happens. I'm not muted anymore. It's all fixed. But with that being said, we have a jam-packed show for you guys today. We got a lot of things to talk about. We are previewing ASU's season. We're also talking everyone. We're also talking all things Arizona Cardinals. Did they screw up the Micah Parsons thing? Did they let that fall right through their hands? And that would have been absolutely asinine. So before we get through the Arizona Cardinals, before we get to the Arizona Cardinals and that Micah Parsons stuff, let's talk about the Arizona State Sun Devils, because there's something brewing over there. But thank you for you guys in the chat for letting me know that I was muted this morning. Listen, it's a one-man band. You guys are a part of this operation. Thanks for telling me about what's going on. So with that being said, let's start here. We'll get to the Cardinals in just a second, but I want to talk about the Arizona State Sun Devils. And here's why. I'm not really interested in the game against NAU coming up here. It's a sellout. It's going to be a raucous stadium, and there's a reason for that. And if you are not a big college football guy, or you haven't had a reason to jump into it, if you're a Arizona State alum, but you haven't really paid attention to the football team, I've got to be honest with you guys. It's time to jump on the bandwagon. Remember when Herm Edwards had his introductory press conference? And he was talking about get on the train. Kenny Dillingham didn't have to worry about doing that. Kenny Dillingham didn't have to make false promises to get you involved. ASU is going to win the Big 12 again this year. And it's not because that they're just going to walk in and walk all over people. That's not the case. It's because Arizona State is building something special. And it takes a different type of head coach to be able to do that. Kenny Dillingham is building what I believe is one of the better football programs in Arizona, in our own backyard. People have talked about, oh, Tempe, Arizona, it's a sleeping giant. No, it wasn't. It was very frustrating because it was like, well, if ASU ever figures it out, watch out. No, it was never the case, because we don't get our arms around something until you make us get our arms around something. We're not bad fans. I'm not going to come and support you if you're not holding up your end of the bargain. We just don't have as many fans because people come from all different places. But that will change with time. Because people like myself will raise my future daughter to be all Arizona fans. So don't blame the fact that fans aren't supporting the teams. Blame the fact that your organization sucks. Diamondbacks attendance is going to be down this year. You want to know why? They haven't given me a reason to talk about them. Why do you think I haven't talked about the Diamondbacks in a couple of weeks, couple of months? Because I'm not going to do that. I don't owe you anything. I'm not going to come in here and talk about the Diamondbacks just because I feel like I haven't done it in a couple of weeks. Give me a reason to talk about you and I will talk about you. With Arizona State, it's different. They've got a premier quarterback, someone who I think is a sleeper Heisman Trophy finalist, Jordan Tyson, who I think could be a Biletnikoff winner, Xavier Alford anchoring the defense, and all led by a superstar head coach who's not going anywhere. If Kenny Dillingham did end up deciding after another successful season that he's going to chase the money and go to one of the premier organizations in football, my first thought would be, oh my God, Kenny Dillingham is a great liar. Because everything we've seen is he loves it here. He loves Tempe. This is his dream job. So if you need a wake-up call and you don't want to be late, ASU football is coming. ASU football is going to be a team to be reckoned with. And when that happens, you don't want to be late to the party. Because then you're talking about Kenny Dillingham, an elite level head coach, going up against Oklahoma and Alabama and Ohio State. I don't know about you. I'd much rather live in Tempe. Not really interested in living in Columbus or Oklahoma City or for some reason I'm forgetting where Alabama, Tuscaloosa. Not interested in living in Tuscaloosa either. Kenny is going to stay here and take it by storm. U of A will be an afterthought when it comes to football. And then when ASU football becomes a dominant organization, they will be flushed with cash. And that's only going to help all their other teams. Basketball, baseball, and then ASU will be a premier sports destination for all teams. I'm warning you to get on now. Last year was not a fluke. Sam Levitt is that good. Yeah, you know, they lost Cam Scadaboo. What'd they do? They went and got Kanye Udo from Army. This team knows how to get winners here now. It takes a skill to know how to win. Kenny Dillingham has that. He's got instilled trust from his guys, the organization. Graham Rossini's got full faith in him. So it's not just beating up on NAU this weekend, which they're going to do. It's when they play Texas Tech, beating that team. It's when they play Iowa State again and beat up Rocco Bent and the rest of that team. This team is going to win the Big 12 again this year. And then teams will come and knocking for Kenny Dillingham. And this is the first time I've ever thought this guy's not leaving. This is his dream job. And then after the season, it won't be too late to jump on. But you won't be able to be the person that said, I was there from the beginning. And there is something to that. And I'm not saying ASU is going to go undefeated. They're going to lose a game or two. But they're going to win the Big 12. They'll be in the college football playoff. And I think with a year of experience under their belt, they might be expected to win their first game. They might not make the semifinals. They might not make the championship. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. They're still growing. But it's just going to help recruiting. It's just going to help Kenny Dillingham to get the right guys here. And that's all that matters. Do you have the head of the snake? And Kenny ain't going anywhere. He, early 40s, late 30s, head coach who's, probably should have got that to start. But this is what a leader looks like. And I'm just telling you now, get on the bandwagon. Because this team is going to be something to be reckoned with all of college football. And I wanted to put that public service announcement out there now. Because I think when they have earned it, I'll say it. You guys know me. I'm critical of teams. I'm very critical of teams. Do you want to know why? Because I hate being a loser. I will never take a job, ever. Let's say one of these days, Ben Garcia show really takes off and someone wants to make me a part of their podcast network. Anyone that tries to tell me to say what I believe in my teams, I promise you I will never work there. There is not enough money in the world to sacrifice my integrity of my takes and me holding teams accountable. I don't care. I could get banned from every team stadium. No interest. Zero. What I will do is praise these teams when it's time to be praised, because that is also deserved. And ASU football has earned it. For a second there, we thought Jedd Fisch and U of A might take that step. No one thought Jedd Fisch was ever going to stay for a super long time. But he's out the door. U of A football has completely fell on its face. And ASU has a chance to completely dominate this market. And the weight of expectations is a heavy crown to bear. But this team, after coming off of last year, the only question now is, can you do it when everyone's watching? Can you take everyone's best shot week in and week out? And with that being said, I believe this team can. All right, let's move on to the top story of the day. I wanted to get ASU out of the way. I think this team is going to be so fun to watch. Get in front of a freaking TV set and watch this team take on NAU. Also appreciate you guys in the chat letting me know that I was muted to start the show this morning. Just so you guys know really quickly, I have been told that I'm supposed to be going back on the herd today with my guy Jason McIntyre. I wanted to make sure I put that out there. I know I didn't say that in the beginning. I'm not sure what time yet. He asked me if I was able to come on Thursday. So maybe I get scratched. I don't know. But from what I've been told, I'm supposed to be back on the herd today on FS1. I'll put out a tweet before I go on. I will let you guys know, but I am supposed to go back on the herd today for Fox Sports 1, talking all things Arizona Cardinals. So with that being said, let's continue to talk some Arizona Cardinals. I have been someone who has been highly critical of Monti Ossenfort. And when I say highly critical, I mean, I like the way he builds a team. He's smart. He's patient. He drafts the right players at the right time in the right round. All those things are great. However, with that being said, when it comes to Monti Ossenfort, what is interesting is his aggressiveness. I have been someone who has been very firm that Monti Ossenfort has to be more aggressive. I don't think it's an Achilles heel. Actually, yeah, I do. What I mean is, I don't think it's something that's going to wreck them. I do think it's Monti Ossenfort's Achilles heel, but I don't think it's absolutely something that's going to wreck them. That's not what I'm trying to say. I think Monty is a very good GM. This is not a go after Monti Ossenfort take. Remember before I always said I hold these teams accountable? I'm not holding Monti Ossenfort accountable. He's done a very good job as a general manager. But I do think, before I give my take on this Micah Parsons thing, that I have been someone that said he's got to be more aggressive. I mentioned in the first round of the NFL draft, God, man, it feels like they should just give up every pick and go get Abdul Carter, because that guy's going to be awesome, and this team needs a pass rusher. But even I said that tongue-in-cheek. People took that way too literally. But my point was, just be aggressive. And in the second round, I had mentioned, you got to be aggressive and go get Will Johnson. Now, he didn't go get him. He fell to him. So that was like half credit. And I say all this because when Micah Parsons became available, I was someone who had said, guys, let's be aggressive. You don't actually know when your time is to compete. people will say, well, you're going all in now. No, you don't actually know. You don't actually know when it is your time to compete for a Super Bowl. You might think you do. You might think you know when you're going to play well. You don't. Look at the last 2 NFC Conference Championship games. The lowly Lions, who have been literally terrible my entire life, and the Washington Commanders, who have also been terrible my entire life. Both teams have been in the NFC Conference Championship game. And guess what? A bunch of them thought their time to compete was now. That's what they thought. Our time to compete, it's now. We're doing it. This is us. When in reality, that's not the case. They didn't know when their time was. And I bet you had they known they would have made the NFC Conference Championship game, they would have pushed the chips all in the table. And so that was my point for Micah. Push the chips in the table. However, this is interesting because I also talked about, before people try to tell me, I was talking out of both ends of my mouth, I also talked about calculated risks. And Monty Ossenfort needs to take a calculated risk and be aggressive. Had the Cardinals made that Micah Parsons trade, the 2 first-round picks I am totally okay with. What is mind-boggling is he is going to make $47 million a year average annual value. And people will say, no, he's only making $120 million fully guaranteed. No, Micah Parsons is going to be there through the duration of that contract and make all of that money. He's going to make $47 million a year average annual value. That is recklessly aggressive. But the Packers have earned the right to be recklessly aggressive because they've been a competent team my entire life. The Cardinals have not earned the right to be reckless. And as much as I would have liked Micah Parsons here, that's a steep price to pay. I am not someone of the belief that in a league where you already have your starting quarterback and you pay him starting quarterback money, that there should be anyone on the team that makes more money than him. Meaning, if Micah Parsons would have been traded to the Cardinals and he would have agreed to the same contract, he would have made more money than Kyler Murray. He would have made he now makes $6 million more than the next non-quarterback contract a year. Micah Parsons is the definition of absolutely backing up the Brinks truck. So, as much as I would have wanted Micah, there are risks, there are calculated risks, and then there's just being reckless. Had the Cardinals given up 2 first-round picks, I would have been okay with it. 2 first-round picks and Jordan Burch. I would have been totally okay with it. But $47 million a year for a pass rusher seems reckless. The Packers have earned that right. The Cardinals have not. And had the Cardinals not done all the things they've done to their pass rush already, adding Jordan Burch, adding Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson, Walter Nolan, just solid player after solid player on this defensive line, I would have probably changed my tune a little bit. But the Cardinals aren't desperate. They're not desperate for a pass rusher anymore. Have you been watching the preseason? They looked pretty good. So as much as I would have wanted someone like Micah or someone like Trey Hendrickson, I still would have done Trey Hendrickson, just so we're clear. $47 million a year is insane money. He makes more than some quarterbacks. Kyler Murray took another step back in average annual value yesterday, and it wasn't because a quarterback got paid. That's reckless, guys. That's reckless. My guy David in the chat, you give picks and money, not a good deal. When you're paying a guy $47 million a year, and in 2 years or next year you're gonna have to pay Garrett Williams, and in another year after that you're gonna have to pay Marvin Harrison Jr. Being successful in the NFL is paying your own guys and strategically bringing in the next piece. So I like Micah. I don't think the Packers gave up too much in assets, but damn, that contract is reckless. But the Packers have earned the right to be reckless. That is a smart adult organization that knows what they're doing. Had the Cardinals done that, I wouldn't have crushed him. I really wouldn't have. I would have appreciated the aggressive swing. But I would have had questions about it. And so the fact that the Cardinals didn't get him, I'm not here shaking my fist at that team. I think overall, it was the fine move to make. And remember, guys, they're not desperate anymore. 2 months ago, I would have said they're desperate and they should go give up the money and the deal. But they're not. And here's the other argument. Do you really want to give up first-round picks for a pass rusher in a year where you might need a quarterback this year? This is not a, by the way, thanks guys for telling me the lower third wasn't changed. You'll tell me when I'm muted, but you won't tell me when the lower third isn't changed. This is not a anti-Kyler Murray take. Like, I'm trying to phrase this so that people don't get pissed at me. But my point is, if Kyler Murray doesn't succeed this year, if he isn't awesome, if he doesn't lead this team to the playoffs and look good in a playoff game, we're talking about replacing Kyler Murray next year. And do you really want to give up assets when you might need to draft a quarterback next year? You know, we just talked about Sam Levitt and ASU. Wouldn't you rather have the assets to pay that guy or to bring him into the fold? I think I would. So, with that being the case, I'm not going to crush the Arizona Cardinals for not bringing Micah Parsons into the fold. They kind of need their picks. And $47 million a year for someone who's not a quarterback is reckless. It's not a calculated risk. It's not taking a risk. It's not being aggressive. It's just a little reckless. And for a year where you might be looking at one of these quarterbacks in a very deep quarterback draft, this is a really good quarterback draft. You want to be someone with assets. So, I mean, with that being said, like, I would have went and got Micah. Like, I don't want people to think I'm switching my tune on aggressiveness now. That's not me. What I'm saying is what the Arizona Cardinals needed to do was be smart about who they went and got. There's calculated risk and there's reckless. The Cardinals haven't earned the right to be reckless yet. And that's kind of where I'm at with that. And I can buy the idea that in a year where Kyler Murray might not be your guy for the future, you do want to stockpile those picks. Hell, you might trade Kyler Murray next year and try to get another first out of it. That's the point I'm trying to make. So as much as I do want to crush Monty Ossenfort this morning for not being aggressive and how much I love going after teams because I want them to know I will never be satisfied. I want to win, and win some more. It's hard for me to do that because that is a lot to give up, and it might not be the right time to push your chips into the middle of the table. However, good look for the Packers, though. I do another YouTube channel for another company, and Micah Parsons on that Packers defense with Quay Walker and who's this? Is it Xavier McKinney and company? That team's going to win the NFC North if Jordan Love can just play consistent football like we've asked for him to play, similar to like we have with Kyler Murray. But that is a great ad for that team, and I think it definitely sticks them right in the firm playoff tier to absolute Super Bowl contender. All right, guys. Apologies for starting late this morning. Apologies for not having my mic on or changing the lower third. It's Friday. Things get weird on a Friday. I'm going on vacation this weekend. I'm headed to San Diego. With that being said, from what I know, I'm supposed to go on The Herd on Fox Sports 1 again this morning. Maybe plans changed. I don't know that. They asked me to come on Thursday night. I told them yes yesterday morning. So I should be on The Herd again today. So keep in mind, check my Twitter. I'll post that I'm going on there a couple of minutes beforehand, and you guys will be able to see it there. I'll post the actual segment of me here as well. You guys will see that. So maybe you'll get a little bit more of the Ben Garcia show throughout the weekend. But with that being said, appreciate you guys tuning into this show. You guys are the people that continues to make it happen. For my guy Savid, for my guy Saul, for my guy David, for my guy Polo, Jay Castle, Mike Evans, Aaron Van Buren in the chat. Appreciate you guys being here, and I have a hell of a weekend, and I will talk to you guys on Monday.